All right, boys, if you are anywhere between 18 to 30 and you want to make money online, just watch this one entire video as we're going to compare all of the ways to make money online and pick one best winner. So let's just jump straight into it. So we're going to be comparing SMMA, e-com, forex, affiliate, and a bunch of other things. And the way we're going to be looking at it is the average fee, meaning how much do you on average make per sale? The startup cost, how much is it going to cost you to actually start this business? The margin, so out of $100 that you make, how much of that is actually left in profit for you? The demand, like realistically, do people need this right now, or is it nobody really cares, right? Fulfillment, how difficult, easy, how much is it going to cost to actually fulfill? Once you made the sale, what do you have to do, right? Is it easy? Is it difficult? The deal type, is it a one-time payment, or is it something that you can sell once and keep getting paid every single month? The saturation, realistically, is it everywhere, even your grandma knows about it? Or is it something that is like a gold mine that most people haven't even heard of? And also the effort and difficulty, let's be honest. Like, do you really want to be putting in 12, 15, 16 hours a day, slaving your ass off, no work-life balance? Or is it something that is fairly simple where you could only put in a couple of hours a day and still make an absolute killing? So let's go into it and break down every single one of them. First one being SMMA. So the average fee, so every single time you sell somebody with SMMA, and first of all, for anybody who's brand new to online money, SMMA stands for Social Media Marketing Agencies. It is basically a marketing agency, right? You're going to other local businesses and you're saying, hey, I will do marketing for you. Now, on average, you're going to, especially in the beginning stages, you're going to be closing people for about $300 to $1,000 a month, realistically. Sure, you can go to 5K, 10K, but I wouldn't say it's unrealistic, but most people are going to be around $300 to $1,000 a month mark. And look, it's okay. But so yeah, it's in orange, which is medium. And these are all going to be in red, green, or orange. Green being obviously very good, red being pretty bad. So this isn't orange, this is average. The startup costs. Realistically, it doesn't cost too much to set up SMMA, but you do need a website. You need to stand out from the competition because there are so many people doing SMMA nowadays. So you do need a website. You definitely will need a couple of softwares. And also, I mean, depending on what marketing you're going to be doing, it can start to cost a little bit more, such as a camera, editing softwares, or an editor, and so on. Now the margin, again, really depending on how you're running it, can be around 50%. So every $100 or every $1,000 that you close, you can be left with about 500 or half of it, right? Again, depending on how you're running it. The demand, the reality is just low nowadays, right? Sure, when the crazy mask time happened, when there was this crazy illness going around, right, 2020, it was such a demand, right? And even I done it, by the way. My name is Marcus Hassel, by the way, so this is one of the first times you're watching me. I started with SMA. I done a bit of e-commerce. I tried a bit of trading. I sold iPhone cases on Etsy. So I tried all these little things that I'm going to be going through. And from my personal experience of doing this, all of these different things now over the last 7 years, I figured out one that just works the best. But I want to share with you guys the difference between all of them. And let's be honest, nobody really needs SMMA anymore. Don't get me wrong, there's always a need for marketing. But as a social media marketing agency, yeah, it's a bit washed. Like everybody, including your grandma, knows about it and is probably doing it, right? Fulfillment is fairly complex. I mean, if you don't know a thing about marketing, you're going to struggle. Like if you don't know how to go viral consistently, you might struggle with that. But also if you're going to be running paid ads, for example, do you actually know how paid ads work? Do you know how to navigate around Business Manager and Ads Manager? It is not the easiest thing. Now, deal type I do like, and this is what I enjoyed about SMMA when I done it about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It was you sell once and it's a consistent monthly ongoing fee. So your clients are paying you on a monthly basis, which is great. However, the real big issue with SMA, it is just too saturated, to put it simply. Like I said, everyone's doing it. The effort and difficulty, I would say, is medium. It's not the most difficult of businesses. It's definitely not the most easiest of businesses, but it's just way too saturated. That's the verdict of SMMA. Next one is e-commerce / dropshipping, right? You're going to be selling iPhone cases, random shit from China, around $2 to $30. Let's be real. Are you really going to get rich by selling $2 iPhone cases? Like, probably not, right? Startup costs, this is where e-com is fairly not beginner friendly. You do need a bit of capital to get started with, to buy the stock, to obviously build a Shopify store, to build a website, and to run ads. Again, I'm fully aware, yes, you can technically do dropshipping, where you technically don't have to buy the product and you ship it straight from China. But I'm going to ask you watching this at home right now, when was the last time you bought something online and it took 4 weeks to be delivered and you are super happy with it? Probably not very, right? So realistically, that whole business model is a bit washed as well. Margin, like 15 to 30% is actually pretty good. You're actually going to be looking at 8 to 10 to maybe 12% profit margins. So you're not left with a lot because you've got to spend on the product, the shipping, the fulfillment, the actual paid ads. That's the big one. So you're not going to be left with a lot. The demand, again, depending on what product you're selling, but in most cases, whatever you're going to be selling, like sunglasses and so on, I mean, like the demand, like so many people are already doing it, right? So for you to find a product that has high demand and no one's doing it, it's going to be very unlikely. Fulfillment is medium, because fair enough, it's not that difficult. When somebody buys it, it automatically makes the order and you fulfill it. It's not really too rocket science. The reason why it's medium is because, well, what if a pandemic happens or something happens where your shipment gets delayed or it gets lost, right? Well, that's an issue. Deal type is one time, because I mean, you sell one product, you give it to that one customer, that's it, right? Again, you can technically have repeat customers, but on average, it is a one-time thing. Saturation, again, it's really saturated, like everybody's doing e-commerce or at least tried it. And again, unless you find a product that nobody has heard of and it's this revolutionary thing, which is going to be fairly unlikely, right? And effort and difficulty, in my opinion, is very difficult. The amount of people that I know that have tried SMA and ecom and they've just made no money in 6 months, 8 months in terms of profit is ridiculous, right? Forex, I don't think I need to talk about it too much. Just don't do it. Like, it is literally you're gambling with money. You need obviously startup costs. You need money up front to be able to trade with it. The chances of you losing money is very, very high. I wouldn't recommend it. And the demand, I mean, it doesn't really applicable for this. The big one is it's stressful, right? Every single day you're going to be stressing out about losing money. It's up or down. Some days you're up. Most days you're down. You have a big day where you make a load of money and you go, fuck it, I'm going to trade a lot more. And then you lose all of it, right? Deal type, again, it's not applicable. Overall, it's difficult. I do not recommend it. Trading of any sort. If you wanted to do crypto, for example, put it into Bitcoin, put it into Ethereum and leave it. But obviously, I'm assuming you watching this, you want to make money. You don't have it in the first place. So then one of the last ones is affiliate marketing, which is basically where you are promoting something else that is already existing. They've already done all the hard work. You're just promoting it. Every person that buys from your link, you get a commission. Now, affiliate one is interesting. I didn't have too much experience with it. I still do affiliate marketing to this day, technically, but it's not like my main thing, right? But anyway, you're going to get around $5 to $30 per thing that you sell. Startup cost is low to none, which is good. It doesn't cost you anything. You just go to any software and you're like, hey, I'm going to promote your stuff. Can I have an affiliate link? And I'll give you one, right? Margin is like 5 to 20%. So every single time you sell something, they're going to give you a measly 5 to 20%. The demand depends on what you're like affiliating. It depends what you're trying to sell. Fulfillment is easy. That's what I like as well. Because, well, you don't have to do the hard work. Like someone's already set it up. You basically sell it for them. Deal type is monthly. So whenever you do get somebody to subscribe for this software using your link, you should get that on a monthly basis. And it's way too saturated. Like realistically, like if somebody like me, for example, if I want to use Zoom as an example, I'll go on Google and I'll search Zoom, download. I don't need to see your affiliate link to then go through you. You know what I mean? Effort and difficulty is easy. Now, the thing with affiliate marketing overall, it's pretty simple and easy to get started as a 13-year-old, but realistically, it's not a business. You're not running a company of sorts, right? You're literally just promoting other person's stuff and you're making somebody else rich besides yourself. Now, imagine if there was a business model where the average fee on the thing that you were selling was anywhere from $2,000 to $70,000. Imagine that. Imagine you could just sell something and it was high ticket. So you wouldn't even need to sell that many. You maybe do 1 or 2 sales a month in an entire month and you're good. You can replace your 9 to 5 income. Imagine the startup cost being low to none, meaning that you can get started with practically nothing. As long as you're watching this and you have a laptop or a phone and Wi-Fi, you're pretty much ready to go, right? That would be pretty good. Imagine the margin was 70 to 95%, right? So everything that you sell, you keep the vast majority of the money. Demand being super high. And imagine it was a business model or a service that you could sell that people really wanted. They constantly were out on the look for this thing. It would be so much easier. You don't have to really do all these hard, difficult sales. Like people are coming to you saying, hey, I need your service, right? Imagine that. Imagine fulfillment was super easy. You get a client, boom, done. Like just constantly and repeat. It wouldn't be too difficult for you to do that thing. The deal type. Imagine if it was a monthly thing. You sell one person and they're paying you on a monthly basis, right? This would be the most ideal business model. Imagine the saturation being very low. Like you might just find out about this thing that I'm about to talk about on today's video and you've never heard of it before. And then you go and do your own research and there's not really that many people talking about it. And other YouTube videos about this thing get barely 1,000 views. No one really knows about it, right? You could literally stumble across a gold mine. And the effort and difficulty, to be frank, is easy, right? Now imagine this one business model that ticked all of these boxes, right? Now, just before I talk about this one perfect business model, which is the perfect fit for all of these things, I want you to self-analyze what's been happening around the world in the last few years, right? More and more of these influencers and celebrities have been popping out of nowhere, making millions of dollars per month, right? Think about it. Depending on how old you are, right? But back when, I guess 10 years ago from myself, there was like PewDiePie on YouTube, and the Smosh Bros, I think it was, and that's about it, right? Now you have all these micro influencers, celebrities, actual huge influencers and so on, right? And they're making millions and millions and millions of dollars. Now, for a lot of these influencers, they either bring out their own products, such as Kylie, for example. She brought out her own makeup brand. They do brand deals. For example, Logan Paul, he has the energy drink Prime, right? That's not his brand. He just is affiliate. He promotes it. Or they sell exclusive content to their fans, okay? Now, of course, for a lot of these influencers, they open up an OnlyFans, right? To sell explicit content of themselves. Now, whether you agree with it or not, that is not what we're here to talk about. Like, OnlyFans as a whole is a very controversial thing. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people don't give a fuck about it. It is what it is. However, the fact is that OnlyFans is everywhere and it's only getting bigger, right? This is a fact. You can Google this yourself. This is a real chart that you can go and find yourself. In 2024, it generated $7.9 billion. In 2023, it generated $6.6 billion, right? The supply and demand would be massively in your favor, meaning that there are so many of these creators. I mean, look, 2023, there was 4 million creators, not the fans that go on there and spend the money, as in like girls and guys that are posting content on there that need help, right? And how many people are actually helping them? Not many, right? There is more money to be made, and there's more money being transacted in OnlyFans than most other industries. And this is, again, another fact. You can Google this yourself. NBA as a whole, NBA combined payroll for all of its fucking players was $4.9 billion, which is a fuck ton of money. OnlyFans was $6.6 billion. How crazy is that? To put into perspective, it's such a huge number that most people can't actually fathom it. They can't visualize it, right? So to give you guys a bit of representation, right? It's a silly little animation, but look at this. Let's just assume that one of these emojis is $10,000, not $1, not $100, not $1,000, 10,000, because it's so much money. I have to start with 10K. Just remember that. So each one of these emojis is 10K. Now that's what 10K looks like. This is what 100,000 looks like. Yeah, okay, not that much, right? 10 of them. This is what 1 million looks like. All right. Now this, my friend, is what 1 billion looks like. Look at the fucking size of it. And OnlyFans generated $6.6 billion between 23 and 24. And yeah, if this is 1 billion, then this is what 6 billion looks like, right? And do you think that you could come into this huge industry, which was back in 2023, 2004, generating $6.6 billion already? And do you think you could come into this industry and just take a measly $10,000, right? And now, by the way, this video, I'm not talking about you starting an OnlyFans. No. You know, since OnlyFans is such a huge industry and these creators are making so much money, they're happy to pay people that can help them to essentially become a manager. They're happy to pay them thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars to actually help them grow their OnlyFans, right? Help them get more followers, help them make more money, help them organize their day. Because, you know, for most of these creators, they have to do everything by themselves, right? They're trying to do all of this stuff by themselves. They're trying to think of the content, record it, edit it, post it on all these platforms. Then they have to reply to all the messages and so on. Imagine if you could come in, right, as their manager. All you'd have to do is you could find people from all around the world that could do the messaging. Boom, you arbitrage that. When it comes to marketing, you find either somebody who already knows what they're doing, you hire them and you work with them, or you just simply come up with creative, fun ideas and you tell the girl to do it. She creates all the videos, she posts it, she goes more viral, brings more subscribers over to OnlyFans, which is increasing the money already. And then you now have a team of free chatters who just reply to all the messages. And in OnlyFans management, which is the business model that I've been doing for the last 5 years, that has allowed me to retire my mother, buy her a house, buy supercars, and live life on my own terms. That's the business model that has allowed me to do that. It wasn't SMMA, it wasn't dropshipping, e-com, forex, none of these things. This is the modern day goldmine. It is insane. Like, you cannot deny that OnlyFans is everywhere, right? You cannot deny that these influencers, and when you think of an OnlyFans model yourself in your head, you probably imagine a girl in a G-Wagon with a Birkin and like some iced out watch, right? These things cost a lot of money. So you already know that they're everywhere. You already know that there's so much money around there. Well, what I do is I teach people how to start an agency to actually help these creators manage their day-to-day, save loads of time, and make more money. And for doing all of that, you take 50%. I myself personally just recently took a client from $8,000 a month in earnings when she was doing it all by herself, to now forward 6-7 months later, last month we done $144,000. If you don't believe me, go into my Instagram at Marcus Hustle, drop me a message and you can see as well. And this is one of, or two of my students, right? Frederick and Joachim. They're from Denmark. They started with my mentorship program where they had not really too much of a clue about OFM and none of this world. And I simply helped them put the right systems in place. I told them exactly what to do in what order, and they simply implemented it. And look at this. In 30 days, they made $90,000. And then we actually flew them out to Dubai, which is quite cool. We had an in-person one-on-one mentorship. We had some fun. We had some supercars, and overall just an amazing time. And we helped them scale their agency to well over $90,000. This video is on my YouTube channel. You can check it out as well. But anyway, besides that, if you guys are interested in this business model and you want to learn more about it, look, I have so much more to talk about. However, this is just a short little video and I cannot go through absolutely everything. There's so much more that I can talk about and explain to you guys. But if you're interested, drop me a message on Instagram at Marcus Hustle and I'll be happy to talk to you. See you on the next one.